Good morning and happy Monday. I'm back here with you for Monday Morning Mastermind, and I have my book out this morning, Women Lead, and I was looking through it, thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about this morning. And a really popular topic this past year has been developing emotional resilience. And it's really interesting because I wrote this book a good 9-10 months before COVID hit, before the pandemic hit. And who knew how much we were going to need resilience in the year that this book came out. So I begin the chapter, it's chapter 2, is Develop Emotional Resilience. And I begin with one of my favorite quotes. It says, "The difference between stumbling blocks and stepping stones is how you use them." When we get a challenge in our life or something that's difficult, frustrating, upsetting, the difference between that shutting us down and propelling us forward is how we decide to react. And there are a lot of different things that you can do, a number of things that you can do to build up your emotional resilience. I always say, we spend a lot of time building our physical resilience. I know a lot of people that take vitamins and drink water and get lots of sleep and lots of sunshine, and they take special herbs to boost their immune system, right? So we do a lot of things. We've been trained to do a lot of things to build up our physical immune system. But your emotional immune system, it's really critical that that's strong. If you want to be the kind of woman that masters life and business and can handle challenges, it's really important to also work as hard on your emotional resilience. And one thing that you can do, one of the strategies that I share, is to create or discover some healthier coping skills. So when you get a challenge, how do you cope with it? Coping is a great tool. Women are great at coping, right? We can cope with a lot of situations. Oh, 3 people quit at work and I'm gonna do 4 jobs instead of 1 and still get paid for 1. I can cope with that. Look, you're only meant to cope with things for a short time. It's a survival skill. Coping is not supposed to be the way you live your life. You shouldn't be switching from one situation where you're coping with something at work to another situation where you're coping with something difficult at home. It's not meant to be a skill that you use for a long time. And when we live like that, we really deplete ourselves. So there are ways that you can cope well, and there are ways that are not so well. So here are some things that are pretty common and some things that I've done, which are coping skills that aren't as healthy. Work more, withdraw and shut down, be irritable, oversleep, compulsively clean. I have to admit that's not something I've ever done, but compulsively cleaning and maybe staying up all night cleaning and organizing is a way of coping. Binge watching, abusing food and alcohol, over worrying, avoiding situations, and anything else that you can think of. Those are not the best coping skills. They are essentially coping skills. But when it comes to any habit that you have, the first step of changing that habit is to be aware of it. So I'm not going to leave you hanging here. I'm going to give you some things that you can do instead, right? So if you find yourself coping with stress or challenges using any one of those not really positive coping skills, here's some suggestions for you. And this is again in chapter 2, it's on page 22 of my book. Here's something that just a few things that I like to do when I'm feeling overly stressed, and it seems really simple. Most of this stuff is free. I have a playlist on my phone, and I have a playlist on YouTube of my best and most favorite inspirational happy music. Aromatherapy, I have a lot of aromatherapy oils that I will either put on my body if they're safe and healthy, or I'll diffuse in the air. Exercising, taking a walk, taking a hike. We are fortunate to live in a part of the country where within about a half an hour to an hour I can get to a waterfall. Love to go and hike on a trail that leads to a waterfall. That really changes my mood. Cooking a favorite recipe, doing some kind of a fun and different activity with family and friends. Spending time with children or pets is a really good way to help you cope with a challenging situation. And here's one that you may not have thought of, but it's one of my favorite things to do, and that is to laugh. And on my Pinterest page and on YouTube, I have some of my favorite funny videos. I remember there was a time when Paul and I both were having really challenging problems with our families, just different things happening in our families. And it had been a pretty brutal couple of months. And my younger son, Kevin, sent me a video on YouTube of funny texts that parents sent their children. And it was a little jab from Kevin for sure. So it probably was like a 3-minute video. And we laughed so hard. We hadn't laughed in weeks, I don't think, because we've just been so busy coping. And I really remember that night, of course, you know how it is when you get on YouTube. We went from that video to another. Before you know it, an hour had gone by and we had laughed so hard we were crying, right? That really was when we turned the corner and we started coping better. So laughing is my favorite coping skill. You know, if you go to my website, coachbethcaldwell.com, and click on the Women Lead Movement, on that page, you can see all of my favorite laughing videos and inspirational music, so check it out. This all comes from the book Women Lead. I hope you have it. If you do, check out chapter 2. I'm Beth Caldwell. This is Monday Morning Mastermind, where I share tips on life and business for women, because we never separate the two, do we? Have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.
Thank you for watching this episode of Monday Morning Mastermind with Beth Caldwell. For more tips to succeed in life and business, visit CoachBethCaldwell.com. On the website, you'll find more than 20 of her best workshop recordings. Access them now by scrolling down and clicking Get Workshop Recordings for instant access. Beth covers brilliant topics, such as 10 Habits of Resilient Women, business systems, strategies for positioning, list building, how to say no, how to stop procrastinating, tips on productivity, and so much more. Be sure to get your instant access on her website at CoachBethCaldwell.com. Visit her there whenever you need some vitamin Beth.